It's a trap, you walked right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, steal, half of what you make. Taxation is theft, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show or for hyper control.
It's a fucking about the pillow. We're going in dry with this information, boy.
And we're back with another episode of Buns and Tubs. We're here with you on this Tuesday night to give you the good word.
Shout out sloth, rape sloth memes.
Yeah.
That's where the intro came from.
Oh, okay, copy.
Google rape sloth.
Yeah, that's a thing for a while.
Rape's only funny if it's a child molester getting raped.
Right? I mean, I'll agree with that.
See that creepy guy from the park earlier that I posted?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, Crepa.
Don't let your kids out
Yeah.
by themselves.
Well, you know, we're here to give you the good news. We got a couple things we're going to talk to you about today. You know, a couple updates on some stories that we've already covered in the past. You know, the things that you guys want to hear about.
This shit went Asia-centric super quick.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's say Asia / because I got some Middle Eastern things to touch on as well.
Eastern, Middle Eastern.
But before we get started, we got any housekeeping to take care of?
Let's try the new Sprite out, you know?
Oh, it's good.
We don't think we had any patrons this week. Over at patreon.com/bones and tubs.
Yeah, we'll let you know at the end of the episode all about that. That could have been you getting a shout out right now.
Could have been. We would have probably done it several times.
Yeah.
We want everybody to go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/bones and tubs show. Subscribe. Hit the bell if you want.
Hey, look, you know, we've redesigned the studio so that you can see beautiful things.
We got a little GoPro on the table. We're going to have it hooked up next week. We didn't get the right cable.
Yeah.
But that's coming. It's going to be hooked into these microphones. So even though we have improved quality sound that's hopefully working well on the live stream, the videos will sound just like this.
There you go.
Just like this.
Just like this. But you know what? And we'll talk about Patreon in the end, but just a quick recap. You know what allows us to get this extra stuff? And we're going to have some sweet boom mics, new chairs.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
They're already in the mail.
Do you know, like, and this new fucking circular light that we got that shows our beautiful faces.
Blinding.
Do you know how we got that stuff?
How do we get it?
Through Patreon.
Yeah.
Through listeners like you.
Yeah.
Who donated money. And this is your money in work in action.
We're putting it all back, giving it all back to you.
You know, we're not like the government. We don't like take your money and then kind of tell you what it's for, but in reality it's for much worse things.
It's actually for child rape and child murder.
Exactly. Yeah, it's for bombing brown people mostly, but there's a lot of purposes for it. And making rich people richer. That's another reason for it. But yeah, so you want to go over there to Patreon.
Shout out theft, you know?
Yeah, thanks. But I guess, like, you know, the first thing I want to talk about, like, today, since it's the day after, is that yesterday was Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I'm going to say.
I think I shared the best Columbus Day meme.
Like, here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say about Columbus Day. Okay. Anybody who doesn't know, like, I'm pretty sure I learned in school, like, I maybe learned in elementary, they were still shucking that Columbus discovered America shit, but by the time I hit, like, middle school, they were already on that, no, he was a terrible human being shit.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he didn't actually discover America. You can't discover something where people are already living.
And have been coming and going from for forever.
But, I mean, at the very least, he helped initiate Western European colonialism in the Americas.
The meme that I shared said that Christopher Columbus was an immigrant that brought much needed diversity.
Ooh. That's a hitter.
Fire.
But here's the thing, like, it's like a dual-edged thing with me. I know that he was a shitty fucking human being who committed atrocities in the name of making money, right?
For someone who called themselves a king and queen, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Daryl.
So...
You're drunk.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like, I also have a problem with people who, like, for some reason or another think they need to, like, basically break their arm jerking themselves off, virtue signaling for everybody about how terrible he was.
Right.
Like, it's something we already know. Like, Like, like that's like saying like over and over again that the sky is blue or taxation is theft. Like, and you just keep making a point of it over and over again. You're just jerking yourself off at that. You're just trying like do people think who do shit like that, do they get like points with people of color? Like, like, oh, you got points because you mentioned how terrible Christopher Columbus is. You know what? Like they think like maybe if they do it, that some Native American woman's that looks like the Land O'Lakes woman's gonna come up to them and suck their dick.
Yeah. Because
they mentioned how shitty of a person Christopher Columbus was.
Get that sweet Native American blowjob.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, see you rocking the mohawk.
Yeah. Shout out Native American haircut.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I mean, they definitely had mohawks.
Okay, cool, sweet, yeah.
Because I think there's a tribe called the Mohawks. I'm pretty sure.
I feel like there was a sports team called the Mohawks, but they had to change their name because it hurt people's feelings. I'm not here to talk to you about sports, at least not until we get onto the NBA topic.
But not, yeah, right? Which is weird because we normally don't talk about sports, but we are today. But that's a whole other thing. I wanted to finish this Christopher Columbus thing real quick. Here's the thing.
We're everywhere.
1, yes, we all know he's a douchebag. 2, you don't have to, okay, I'm not going to say the person's name. They don't listen to the show anyways, but it doesn't matter. But every fucking year, they go on this rampage on Columbus Day about how terrible Christopher Columbus was and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what? Like, is there like some sort of like I feel like I said, I'm pretty sure this person wants like to get their dick sucked by the Land O'Lakes girl or something. Man. And that's why he keeps virtue. Because like, I can't see a reason why every year you make a note of it to emphasize how shitty of a person he was. We all know he was shitty.
Even if you're trying to get your dick sucked by a Native American, like, you're not trying hard enough.
Like,
you better hurry because they're almost all dead.
Fuck Christopher Columbus, okay?
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Fuck Native Americans also.
Well, I mean, second place.
Yeah. If you ain't first, you're last, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, just saying. I know that's fucking. I know that's fucking terrible.
Suck my dick, like,
but like
for real.
It's fucking like the whole of human history is a history of fucking bloodshed and conquering.
I don't know where to put this robot dick. I feel like it's. Here we go. Anyway, yeah, it's human history. It's been going on since humans.
Like, I'd like to think that we've evolved, but we haven't. It's just different. It's just different types now.
Now we wear suits and we use drones.
Yeah.
And people with, Xbox controllers.
We use the illusion of money to, like, control people. You know what I mean?
We put mercury in vaccines.
Instead of using, like, steel tubes full of fucking gunpowder and little lead balls, we just use our money to fucking tell them what to do.
I saw a news story a couple days ago of sex robots. Once they're given the power of AI brain, apparently they've already tried this in trials, air quotes, they can't be differentiated from people. So that shot me forward into the future. It's just, now you go to the bar and you're looking for somebody as a single man to come home with. Now you got to worry about it being a man or, not the sex you think it is. Also, you got to worry about it not being human.
Okay, let me ask you. So there's two things that come to mind with this. We've talked about before. We've talked about the uncanny valley, right?
Yes. So
is this in reference to they've come out of the uncanny valley and we can't tell the difference now? Or there's another thing. It's called the Turing test. It was a theory created by Alan Turing, the guy who created basically the first computer.
Yeah.
The computer that was able to solve the messages from the Enigma machine.
Right.
The guy who, because he preferred the company of men, the government of England decided to make him chemically castrate himself because he preferred to be with men.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Alan Turing.
Huh. Neat.
Yeah. So he came up with the theory that where the uncanny valley is things that look really close to what we are unnerve us and make us feel nervous. It's a predatory response.
Yeah.
Whereas the Turing test is it's a conversation between a human and an AI, and to actually pass the test, the AI has to convince the person that they're an actual person.
I think it's probably just disclosure. Because I think they've got, they said when we were kids that, like, all of our technology is 50 years old compared to what the power people have.
Yeah.
So who's to say they haven't already had this for a long time and they're just having to ease it in? Because if you just went from having a lifeless sex doll that you fucked from time to time and then put it away in the closet in shame, going from that to having it deep fake your neighbor, like,
You imagine like
It's dissettling.
well, I mean, like Dr. Evil had fembots, so it's like it's not that much of a stretch.
He had a sweet midget clone too.
They-
Shout out midget clone.
They had machine gun jubblies.
We call him Mini Bones. Oh man, I can't wait.
But yeah, are you gonna have to have that awkward conversation when your neighbor, when your new sex robot comes to your house and it looks exactly like his wife?
Well, it's got like that. It's got that face swapping technology. So she just walks by and she sees like somebody sweeping the floor, and she looks in and it's her. Oh no!
Yeah,
That's an awkward walk to the mailbox tomorrow.
exactly. But
God, that we went off the rails quick with that one.
no, so I'm curious as to what they're talking about, whether it be the step out. Because let me tell you, the sex robots I've seen so far, they have not come out of the uncanny valley yet. They still don't like. You couldn't trick me with one of them. Now, if it was like, say, like an AI and it was like a phone sex thing, that might be.
Well, yeah, they did just come out with that. Did you see that we won't be able to tell who we're talking to on the phone now?
Okay, so that is a Turing test.
Yeah.
If you're convinced, like if you don't know that it's not human, that's passing the Turing test.
This is the time where once we get to our final stage, our final form. Shout out Dragon Ball Z. Then we have actual D Live. We could have a computer doing the OBS thing. We could screen it, pull it up. They have video like recordings of people watching while they're on the phone listening to the audio.
Yeah.
They sound like fucking people, bro.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it
It makes
at all.
me wonder if I've already talked to one of them.
Right? I mean, before we knew we were talking to a robot.
Man finds out his wife of 30 years was actually a fucking robot.
Yeah. Makes me think of there's a really good Twilight episode that reminds me of that.
Oh, man, I miss the Twilight.
Like, basically the premise is he's a prisoner, but it's in a future where they just set prisoners on, like, asteroids.
I remember this one.
Yeah. And all he does is just basically maintain the machines that mine the asteroid. And out of sympathy, the government that keeps him incarcerated on this asteroid sends him a pleasure bot.
So you think it's a person, though? Or does he know it's a robot?
He knows it's a robot.
Okay.
And at first he's like, it's one of those things like, stay the fuck away from me.
Get away from me, you weird robot bitch.
But then eventually realizes that she's not just, a bunch of parts, that she has actual, like...
She got a pussy.
that too. It's a good episode. Anybody out there, you should go check it out. It's one of my favorite episodes of the show.
It's lonely out here in Spain.
Probably like right behind Occurrence at Owl Creek or...
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen, man, we gotta get on topic. We'll be going for 40 hours for real.
But, and that's actually a really good short story too, FYI.
Yeah, check out, what is it, The Occurrence at Owl Creek?
In Occurrence at Owl Creek.
That fucked me up, man, because I've had a number of times in my life, like driving head on into a semi or getting caught in a riptide at the age of 10 in the ocean and almost drowning. Yeah. It makes you wonder if any of this is real.
It's,
None of this is real.
In that same vein, so what I want you to do is you go read Occurrence at Owl Creek, right? The short story by, I believe it's Robert Brown. Maybe?
That sounds right.
It does sound right. Okay, and then you go watch the Twilight Zone episode, and then I'm going to give you a 3-hitter. You ready for this?
Yes.
Go watch Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. You know what's crazy?
And get your head fucked thoroughly.
I borrowed that a long time ago from the doctor, and I never got around to watching it until like 6 months after I borrowed it.
Yeah.
And that fucked me up.
It's a great movie. If all of you haven't seen it out there, it's very, very good. Anyway, so I think the next thing we wanted to talk about was...
one random movie thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then I'll shut the fuck up.
Okay, all right.
So, I'm in Wizard and Glass.
Mm-hmm.
To keep us on the topic, the last 1 or 2 shows talking about Gunslinger. I was like, man, I really want to read The Stand again. Because I haven't reread The Stand since I've had The Eyes of Understanding. But I don't have time for that because it's fucking 2.5 inches thick.
Yeah, it's over there, though, by the way.
It is.
In the bookcase.
Shout out that bookcase that you put up. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
Love you, too.
But anyway, I went to YouTube to watch the movie for free.
Yeah.
It took me 10 minutes and 50 seconds to get to my first Gunslinger, what do you want to call it? Comparison.
Yeah.
Where they mentioned the Man in Black. 10 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah.
And then at 12 minutes and 30 seconds, they mentioned a poem written by that creepy nerd. You know which character I'm talking about?
I think so.
He's trying to date the one girl. They're both in Maine.
Oh, yeah.
But he mentions a poem that he wrote he wants her to read. It was about her called The Crushed Rose.
Huh.
Another gunslinger.
Oh my God.
I know, but yeah. Anyway, sorry. That's enough of my autism leaking out.
No, it's cool because Stephen King autism is some of the best autism.
I printed all my stuff out because I've not figured out a new screen, and we are obviously screenless here.
We might have to switch to tablets or something for real.
I thought about it, but I just don't want to get an iPod or an iPad, and I don't know. Let me know if you guys know anything about Android tablets, because those are cheaper, and I will check those out.
Because I would love to have like a little tripod with a tablet right here so I could read my notes.
Be tits.
Yes, it would be.
So I printed this out for two reasons. One, well, really three. One, I wanted to have it in front of me. Mm-hmm. Two, I wanted to be like Alex Jones. We have the documents! You know?
Just stacks of fucking paperwork on your desk.
We need somebody behind the camera be like, can you go over there? You printed it out? I put it in my printer. Like I told y'all, bring me the paper. I'm getting fucking sweaty. Why is he wearing a suit with a t-shirt? You know,
he's fucking, off the rails.
He won't talk about Zionism, though.
No.
So I also wanted to do it to be, you've carried a lot of weight here with these reminders. Mm-hmm. So I got the reminder this week.
Okay. All right. Copy.
This is from a New York Times article.
You're going to have to blurb that out.
I'm sorry.
Man, you're going to have to blurb that out.
You know who I did it for.
Yeah, I know who you did it for.
New York Times article from 10/13/19 titled, Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein, who killed himself on suicide watch while he was on trial and about ready to unseat the power structure because he's a pedophile convicted.
And a child sex trafficker.
And he trafficked children, boys and girls, for famous people like politicians,
celebrities,
famous people like Chris Rock,
people in the fake media,
everybody. Anyway, he killed himself. Anyway, Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein many times despite his past. I'm just going to gloss over it because it's like 6 fucking pages. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who committed suicide in prison, managed to lure an astonishing array of rich, powerful, and famous men into his orbit. There were billionaires, Leslie Wexner, Leon Black, politicians, Bill Clinton, and Bill Richardson, Nobel laureates. I'm not going to read laureate. See? Yeah. Here we are. Even royals, Prince Andrew, fuck the crown. Few, though, compared in prestige and power to the world's second richest person, a brilliant and intensely private luminary, Bill Gates. And unlike many others, Mr. Gates started the relationship after Mr. Epstein was convicted of his sex crimes. Mr. Gates, the Microsoft co-founder, whose $100 billion plus fortune has endowed the world's largest charitable organization. All that means is he's making money without paying taxes.
Yeah.
While I'm jealous, I can't be mad at him. Has done his best to minimize his connections to Mr. Epstein. I didn't have any business relationships or friendship with him, he told the Wall Street Journal last month. Mm-hmm. Because he has a name to protect, right?
Yeah.
I bet if, anyway, never mind. In fact, beginning in 2011, Mr. Gates met with Mr. Epstein on numerous occasions, including at least 3 times at Mr. Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, and staying late into the night.
I wonder what they were doing. You think they were playing checkers?
I think they were fucking children.
Oh, okay. All right.
His lifestyle was very different and kind of intriguing, although it would not work for me, Mr. Gates emailed colleagues in 2011. After his get-together with Mr. Epstein, a spokesperson for Mr. Gates said he was referring only to the unique decor of Epstein's residence. Shut the fuck up. You know, you're trying to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Bill Gates is a pedophile. Can I say that? Allegedly. Bill Gates.
You got to put allegedly in front of it, otherwise I'm pretty sure that's slander.
Can we rewind it? Bill Gates. Allegedly, Bill Gates is a pedophile. It was in no way meant to convey a sense of interest or approval, she said. Over and over, Mr. Epstein managed to cultivate a close relationship with some of the world's most powerful men. At the foundation, Miss Walker met and befriended Mr. Nikolic, a native of what is now Croatia and a former fellow at Harvard Medical School, who was the foundation's science advisor. Mr. Nikolic and Mr. Gates frequently traveled and socialized together. Miss Walker, who had remained in close touch with Mr. Epstein, introduced him to Mr. Nikolic, and the man became friendly. Mr. Epstein and Mr. Gates first met face-to-face on the evening of January 31st, 2011, at Mr. Epstein's townhouse at the Upper East Side. They were joined by Dr. Eva Anderson Dubin, a former Miss Sweden, who Mr. Epstein had once dated, and her 15-year-old daughter. Dr. Anderson Dubin's husband and the hedge fund billionaire's Glenn Dubin was a friend and business associate, Mr. Epstein. Now, I'm not going to continue to go anymore because it's starting to make my blood pressure raise. But basically, Bill Gates was quoted as saying that, in reference to the 15-year-old girl, They had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this was like a quote in an email to colleagues, so he didn't know people were going to see this shit.
That's good.
But now he's just talking about how he only liked the decor. He wasn't really around any of that. He didn't really know.
Yeah.
What do you run a background check around all the people you hang out with?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Fuck him,
man.
But anyway, yeah, don't let him let you forget that Mr. Epstein is probably not dead.
Had friends in many high places, in many circles, and was a pedophile.
I can't read that shit without making my teeth like grind.
Mm-hmm. So I think on to the next thing I wanted to address real quick.
Yes.
It was funny to me.
What?
Like the glaringly bad hand that people play where you have individuals who claim to be anti-war, right?
Mm-hmm.
And against intervention in other countries and whatnot, right?
Yes.
And then you have Trump pull out of Syria. And those very same people that normally would be condemning somebody for putting boots on the ground and taking that war hawkish approach, they normally condemn him for it. So if he was putting boots on it, like, imagine, if you will, there wasn't troops in Syria, and then he decided to put some there to help stabilize the region, and then everyone would be against that, right? Well, but now they're all saying, well, now we've abandoned our allies in Syria. Now, whether or not we've done that or not, the thing is I am so against any kind of intervention whatsoever at this point, because I really want to see the military-industrial complex just completely topple.
Yeah. So
the only way to do that is to get us out of a perpetual state of warfare.
All around the fucking world?
All around the world.
1,000 military bases?
Like, shit blows my mind. Like, I heard just the other day, like, a fucking Humvee full of fucking U.S. troops died somewhere in Africa. Like it wasn't Syria or anything. It was like it was like in some regular African nation, like in Central Africa. And I was like, what the fuck were they doing there? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and you hypocrites.
Do you know why they're there? I'll tell you.
Because we're fucking everywhere?
Well, yeah, I actually know the reason why we have troops in Africa. It's our proxy war with China.
Oh, okay.
They have Chinese troops down there training their tribe or whoever the fuck they're using, and we're training another tribe, and we're just proxy warring the shit out of Africa.
Is it because of their precious rare earth animal? I can't even talk. Rare earth minerals?
It could be the rare earth minerals. It could be the vast amount of resources. It could be it's large. Like, isn't it the largest landmass?
I believe it's the largest continent.
Yeah. I mean, basically, they were given everything, you know?
But I don't, like, and I don't understand how people are like, he's pulling us out of Syria. He's pulling us out of a conflict in the Middle East. And as far as I'm concerned, historically speaking, us and the Middle East are not, no pun intended, oil and water. They heard me say oil. Now we're going to have troops. There's going to be a drone strike now because they heard me say the word oil.
That's fine. If this even makes it to air, it's only going to get like 4 downloads anyway because the main topic is going to get us scrubbed from YouTube.
You think so?
I guarantee it. Speaking of that, let me tell you a story real quick about YouTube.
Yeah.
And their censorship. I was watching a video on a channel. Was it Half as Interesting?
Yeah.
And I had the captions on because I didn't always have the volume up. And anytime in one of these videos, he was making like a cheeky remark about chemtrails. Anytime he said chemtrails, YouTube changed it to contrails in the captions. The censorship runs deep.
Yeah.
So Marfugal, every time you watch one of his videos and he says something like bomber, he says boomer. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there that is. So.
But yeah, it's just, I find it strange. Like, normally people, like, they're incredible hypocrites because it's whatever agenda that they're willing to serve. You know what I mean? It's like how they say there's never any anti-war protests when Democrats are in power, even though we've stayed in a perpetual state of warfare for, 60, 70 years now?
For fucking ever, pretty much.
We're always at war with Eurasia. Just saying.
Yeah, they were not even around, really, when Obama was in there.
So, like, here's the thing. I'm not a Trump guy, but him pulling troops out, I'm like, yeah, how about you go ahead and pull them out of the other 100 and...
Pull them out of everywhere.
How about everywhere?
Yeah.
All 100
I'm not,
fucking 60-something countries that we got motherfuckers in.
I'm not a Trump guy either, but I will give him credit where credit's due. He's doing the good work there.
Better yet, how about you start dismantling the fucking war machine?
How about you hit that drug schedule?
Yeah, that too.
Let's just be honest
But,
with one another.
Let's get on to what we really wanted to fucking hoot on today, and this is an axe to grind for us because, shout out to all the fucking shills out there who have decided to supplicate the fucking Chinese government and rally against fucking free speech.
Yeah.
And hey, mad props to fucking Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Oh my
Those
God.
motherfuckers right there, dude.
Man.
Listen.
If you haven't seen it, go and look into what they did with South Park.
Listen, yeah, South Park has been fucking sent right down the fucking memory hole in China.
Yeah.
Because of what they did. But you know what? No lie detected.
No, they hit it right on the head like they normally do.
All right, so let's get into this fucking shit.
All right, so I printed this story off of thebigblackcock.com, bbc.com, 10/14/19, titled "The Hong Kong Protest Explained in 500 Words." I'm sure you've seen it. If you're not paying a whole lot of attention, something's going on in Hong Kong. It has to do with China. Although I'm pretty sure everybody that listens to this show, unless you're brand new to it, and in that case, welcome to the Bones and Tips podcast.
Yay!
We're glad to have you. Anyway. If you're new to it, you know something's going on. If you're not, here's a little history to help you fine-tune your arguments. Are you ready?
Yes.
The extradition bill, which triggered the first protest, was introduced in April. It would have allowed criminal suspects to be extradited to mainland China under certain circumstances. Opponents said this risked exposing Hong Kongers to unfair trials and violent treatment. They also argued the bill would give China greater influence over Hong Kong and could be used to target activists and journalists.
Sorry, and jump in there real quick. Just for reference, you could go back and listen to the episode if you haven't. Also, what China gets to deem as criminals is a pretty loose term.
Fuck.
I mean, because like Christians, Muslims, and the group the Falun Gong are all considered criminals, and they harvest their organs.
We did a sweet episode on that.
Yeah.
I wish I knew the number, but
you gotta go back and hit that one in the back catalog because that is a premium episode.
Straight fire. And we did it. That was like one of the 4 or 5 episodes we've done that was well ahead of its time.
So understand that, like, when it comes to, like, it's like you think in your head, well, Hong Kong is technically under China's control. So if somebody gets extradited from Hong Kong to China for a crime, but that's the problem. What's a crime?
Right. It's definitely not our definition of crime. And we have a fucking ridiculous definition of crime.
Yeah.
Compared to natural law, but the Chinese are just off the chain. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets after weeks of protests. Leader Carrie Lam eventually said the bill would be suspended indefinitely. How did the protests escalate? Protesters feared the bill could be revived at a later time, so demonstrators continued, calling for it to be withdrawn completely. But then clashes between police and protesters had become more violent and more frequent. In July, protesters stormed Parliament, defacing parts of it. A masked man armed with sticks, suspected to be a triad gangster, also assaulted protesters and passers-by inside Yonglong Station, far from the city center. In August, one protester was injured in the eye, leading to demonstrators wearing red-colored eye patches to show their solidarity for his injury. Protest action at Hong Kong International Airport in August also saw renewed clashes and led to hundreds of flights being canceled. In September, the bill was finally withdrawn, but protesters said it was too little too late. On October 1st, while China was celebrating 70 years of Communist Party rule, Hong Kong experienced one of its most violent and chaotic days. An 18-year-old was shot in the chest with a live bullet. 1 of 6 rounds were fired by police. Protesters also fought officers with poles, petrol bombs, which just means Molotov cocktails, and other projectiles.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, you guys got it. I like to think
if only they had some fucking gunpowder.
No shit. Man, I hope somebody's sending them guns on the low for real.
Man, it's about that time.
About that time, mate.
They do that.
They're using IEDs too. That's cool.
They have that thing in Anarchapulco every year. That should be a talking point. Like, how do we get guns to fucking Hong Kong? You know what I mean? Like, seriously, somebody needs to bring that to the big talking heads of fucking of organized. Well, it is oxymoronic, but organized anarchy. You know what I mean? Like,
they can be organized. It's just people coming together voluntarily.
It still sounds oxymoronic. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't put it on a shirt.
Jumbo shrimp.
The government has now banned protesters wearing face masks, though they have been defying this. What do the protesters want? Some protesters have adopted the motto, 5 demands, not one less. These are the 5. 1. For the protest not to be characterized as a riot. 2. Amnesty for arrested protesters. 3. Independent inquiry into alleged police brutality. 4. Implementation of complete universal suffrage. The 5th demand on the withdrawal of the bill has already been met. Some also want the resignation of Carrie Lam, whom they view as Beijing's puppet. Protests supporting the Hong Kong movement have spread across the globe, with rallies taking place in the UK, France, US, Canada, and Australia. In many cases, people supporting the demonstrators have been confronted by pro-Beijing rallies. Chinese President Xi Jinping was warned against separatism, saying any attempt to divide China would end in bodies smashed and bones ground to powder.
Nice. You know, those 5 demands, there's nothing unreasonable about any of those as far as I'm concerned.
No, none at all.
Not a single one. Man,
fuck them.
Fuck this shit.
I did learn how, this is a side note, I did learn how, what do you call them? I guess aristocracy, the leading party of China. What was it?
Let's call it the ruling regime.
Okay. Well, I learned how the ruling regime are named.
Okay.
They're named slightly differently than the actual citizens of China.
Yeah.
Their parents have an actual ritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they discover that the mother's pregnant, and they throw silverware downstairs.
Got him.
Yeah. Did I get you?
Oh, yeah, you got me.
Okay, I had you
got
going.
me. You had me going there for a minute.
So they throw the silverware down the stairs, right? And then the sounds that happen when the silverware striking the stairs and the wall and the floor, inevitably, that's how they name the dictator.
So
the despot.
Basically, well, we're going to keep going because that's the history, right?
Yeah, we're just now to what is Hong Kong's status.
So now, yes, keep going. Yes.
What is Hong Kong's status? Hong Kong is a former British colony handed back to China in 1997. It has its own judiciary and separate legal system from mainland China. Those rights include freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. But those freedoms, the basic law, expire in 2047. I'm going to pause here for a second.
There shouldn't be an expiration on that.
Right. What the fuck were you thinking?
Yeah.
2047, long time. I'll probably get rid of that.
Yeah, cut that, please.
And it's not clear what Hong Kong's status will then be. Emergency laws introduced on October 5th banning face masks at rallies and carrying a maximum penalty of 1 year in jail sparked some of the worst violence since the unrest started. On Monday night, many protesters wore face masks in defiance of the ban. Speakers urged the United States to pass a Hong Kong Human Rights Act to ensure democracy for the former British colony, which returned to Chinese rule. Make Hong Kong great again, read one poster. Some of the protesters waved the U.S. flag and carried Uncle Sam recruitment posters, reading "Fight for Freedom, Stand with Hong Kong." All of the Hong Kong people feel hopeless, and the government hasn't listened to our voices, so we need the USA to help us, said the protester, Edward Fong, age 28. The protesters are angry at what they see Beijing's tightening grip on the city, which was guaranteed 50 years of freedom under the one country, two systems formula, under which it returned to China. Beijing rejects the charge, accusing the Western countries, especially the United States and Britain, of stirring up trouble.
Oh, okay.
Which originally I thought that's what it was. That's before I looked into it. I'm pretty sure I made jokes about it being the CIA.
Yeah, because we definitely shipped all those protesters in, let me tell you.
Yeah. We need to trade our protesters for their protesters for sure.
Yeesh.
The unrest poses the biggest popular challenge to Chinese President Xi Jinping since he came to power in 2012. He warned that any attempt to divide China will be crushed. I already read that. Everyone attempting to split China in any part of the country will end in crushed bodies, shattered bones, Xi said in the meeting on Sunday with leaders in Nepal, where he was visiting, according to China's state broadcaster CCTV. They are riotous, criminals. In contrast to Monday night's peaceful protests, rallies descended into chaos on Sunday, with running skirmishes between protesters and police in shopping malls and on the streets. Kill those motherfuckers. And I'm not talking about the protesters. Black-clad activists threw 20 Molotov cocktails at one police station, while others trashed shops and metro stations. A crude explosive device, IED, which police said was similar to those used in terrorist attacks, was remotely detonated as a police car drove past, and officers were clearing roadblocks on Sunday night. The police officer also had his neck slashed by a protester. Violence against police has reached life-threatening levels, said Deputy Commissioner Police of Tang Ping Kyung
Let me go ahead and shed a tear on that one.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Zoom in if you want to. There are not protesters. They are rioters and criminals. Whatever cause they are fighting for, it never justifies such violence. And you just wait. We talked about it in our previous episode. I want to say a few ago, we talked about the update from the satellite image where they have moved in fucking military vehicles in a sports stadium already.
Yeah.
So now we're just waiting for it to get to a certain level and then we can roll that back and do whatever the fuck we want. Says China. Protests have attracted millions of people but are gradually becoming smaller in recent weeks, yet violence by hardcore activists has risen, prompting debate over tactics, but they say they remain united. Violence is always undesirable, but in the case of Hong Kong, we have no other option, said regular protester Jackson Chan, age 21. In June, 2 million took to the street to demonstrate peacefully, yet the government showed a complete disregard of the public opinion. Escalation of violence is inevitable, Chan said. On Monday, speakers called on U.S. senators to vote for the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act 2019, saying it would be their most powerful weapon. The bill supports human rights in Hong Kong with measures under consideration such as annual reviews of its special economic status and sanctions on those who undermine its autonomy. The text will not be finalized until it passes both houses of Congress and is signed by the president. We are exhausted and scared. Many of us have been detained and tortured. We believe international help will come one day, said one speaker. Police have fired thousands of rounds of tear gas and rubber bullets, petrol bomb throwing protesters, and arrested more than 2,300 people since June. Many teenagers, 2 people have been shot and wounded. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam is due to deliver her annual policy address on Wednesday amid pressure to restore confidence in the government. Hong Kong is facing its first recession in a decade because of protests, with tourism and retail hardest hit. And we're done.
Okay.
So anyway, it's reached points now with our companies.
Yeah, well, now basically what's broken down is that you have American companies or American organizations that have ties to China or they make money in China who are now, anybody that's not towing the line with them with China is getting blackballed.
Right.
Case in point, the whole skirmish with the NBA, right? You had one person come out and say, this is fucked. Mm-hmm. I support the Hong Kong protesters, who was part of the NBA. And he was fucking silenced very quickly and took it back. And now you have all these fucking stars who are either fucking mum's the word or, outright saying that it's wrong, that the Hong Kong protesters are wrong.
Who's that bitch today that took a kneel? Was it fucking LeBron?
It might have been.
Did you see that?
Was it about Hong Kong?
Yeah, he took a stance towards China, but he knelt in China's favor.
So, okay, all right,
They said the Hong Kong protesters were burning LeBron jerseys.
Let me try to break this down for you, everybody, real quick. Okay, this is the same individual who I'm not going to disagree with, has argued that the police in this country, the authority in this country...
Get the fuck out of here.
Has... systematically gone after African American males.
Why can't we just say people?
Is now saying that the police brutality against the Hong Kong citizenry is completely kosher and okay.
Man, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. That shit justified.
So you're a shill and a piece of shit.
Yeah, you care only about money.
Yeah, in the NBA, you're a shill and a piece of shit too. And I hope you go to hell, all of you. Because fuck you.
Hope you die.
And you know what? Mad props to fucking Matt Stone and Trey Parker for taking a fucking stand.
Right.
You know what? They've been sent down the memory hole in China, but they're in my fucking memory forever. And after this episode, me and you might end up going down the memory hole in China for all I know.
I'm surprised we've been downloading China as much as we have been because we have not, we've talked shit about everybody.
Yeah.
Especially the Chinese.
Yeah. So,
not the people, but their shitty government.
All these companies that have Chinese overlords are fucking towing the line. And just utterly fucking, you know what? Fuck all of you. And don't come at me with this fucking America, freedom, bullshit shit anymore. I don't want to fucking hear it from you.
Right.
You're a piece of shit.
They should have, the Hong Kongers, I'm sure they have a group of them that have, their Thin Blue Line crowd. They're, Hong Kong pro-China.
Yeah.
We support Chinese police.
Yeah. There's been a couple of NBA games where people show up with signs about free Hong Kong shit, right? And they get escorted out of the fucking game.
Probably stomp the fuck out too.
Man, I am so fucking tired of this shit. It's
Listen
not
to
even
this
funny,
shit,
man.
So
God
you know how I've tried to get you to play Overwatch for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy who I think he's an Overwatch player, but he's not he's not one of the ones that they pay in the top 500 to fight together on the teams that they record. But he's up there.
Yeah.
He's prominent. A lot of people like watching him. He got banned for when I don't think he even said anything. He might have said something about like, go Hong Kong.
Yeah.
But he came out with one of those masks on.
Mm-hmm.
And to show his stance of solidarity with Hong Kong. And Blizzard said, fuck you.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck Blizzard, too. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself, Blizzard.
Here's the thing, and I feel both ways about it. They should have said, say what you want to say. But at the same time, like, this is where we talk about companies, like, having the right to autonomously rule. They are not a platform for political speech. I get that.
Yeah.
However, you should also face the fucking financial backlash that's going to come from your shitty decision.
Well, that's like fucking a couple weeks ago when you find out that fucking Google was aiding the police in Hong Kong in tracking down protesters.
Right.
Like, this is a company who touts themselves to be like the bastion of fucking liberal freedom,
They're
right?
a globalist fucking cuck company.
Well, they cut themselves out to whoever they need to.
Anybody that's going to pay them.
Yes.
They have their own version of Google that they wrote for the Chinese government to help them to better censor the internet.
It's fucking wild.
Give me a fucking break. Fuck Google. Use Start Page. Use DuckDuckGo.
Listen, those are for real the kind of capitalists I fucking hate.
Yeah, but they don't even have to be. I mean, they're just shitty people. It doesn't matter what system you put them in; they're going to thrive because they're fucking sociopaths.
But
I got a lot of hate in my heart tonight.
No,
I don't know if y'all can feel it.
See, that's the thing, though. Fuck all that, though.
Yeah, for sure.
These people want freedom, and the thing is, like, if there's any part of me that's still like all about what the dream, not what we are, not what we were before,
Right.
but there was a dream before.
I have a dream.
Not that dream.
I might put that in there too.
Well,
hit me right in the giggle spot.
when this country was still, I don't even know if it was in its infancy yet. It was still in it was still in the womb, right?
Yeah.
This whole notion, this enlightened notion of true natural law and freedom.
Yep.
It was something pure initially. Of course, it fucking went right down the fucking tubes. But that dream is alive in Hong Kong right now.
Well, it's a human dream. It's a dream of human freedom. They realize that, like, like you said, their 5 demands, they're not asking for anything crazy.
No.
They're asking for human rights that they were born with. That the government, as they always do, the government's not here to give you rights. They're supposed to protect those rights that are already enumerated.
Yeah.
But they never do. All they want to do is fuck your brains out. Before we go on to the next part of the Asia story and then the Middle East, I'm
done with the Middle East now.
Okay, my bad.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You said that Syria thing.
Well, I talked about Syria already.
I thought you were going to hit the Kentucky shit with CNN.
Oh, yeah, we could do that too. Sorry, I forgot about that.
I want to talk about those sweet-ass memes that came out about Xi Jinping.
Oh.
That fucking Winnie the Pooh shit is hilarious.
Listen, did you see that one I posted?
Yeah, it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I think that we both, like, somehow we don't see each other's memes all the time, but we both post fire memes on the same subjects in the same week, because I posted that one about Change My Mind.
Yeah.
That involved the NBA and then Winnie the Pooh's fucking ass.
Oh, yeah.
We should make it a Buns and Tubs policy where we only use his name now as Winnie the Pooh.
That's the one you saw, right?
Yeah. We got a 4-panel meme here. Winnie the Pooh and Piglet are enjoying some honey sitting down together. And one of them said, let's see. Oh, Winnie the Pooh eating honey. I love honey. They're all smiling, happy. He's got honey on the paw. Next one says, but you know what I don't love? Serious face. Oppressive totalitarian regimes. And then violent stare right into your eyes.
Yeah, just fucking straight staring you down. I might try to get that posted to the Buzz and Tubs page because I like it so much.
You guys should. I'm gonna post your private email on the Buzz and Tubs page and have people shame you for not posting things on those formats.
Sorry, I'll share this to the.
That's totally fire. That needs to go on Instagram.
Yeah. I'll share it to our main page.
You know, if you post on Instagram, you can click a button and it shares it to the Facebook page.
Really? Okay. I'll go ahead and do that then.
Shout out public shaming.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
But yeah, that and just the fact that he looks exactly like Winnie the Pooh.
Yes. Hey, could you do me a favor, everybody out there? Go ahead. I know you don't, if you don't use Google, whatever, but you can use DuckDuckGo, I guess, too.
DuckDuckGo or Start Page.
Put
Fuck
just
Google.
XI, that's his name, Z, is Winnie the Pooh. Just type that in, search it about fucking at least 5 or 6 times a piece. I figure we could get a good generator going.
Yep.
Because you know what? If he'll center it in his part of the world, but the rest of us know he looks like Winnie the Pooh.
We need to try and do I don't really understand how Twitter works, but we need to start a trending hashtag that's like Z is Pooh.
Yeah. Z is Pooh. Hashtag Z is Pooh.
Even if it's just POO for shit, and then it's just Winnie the Pooh memes.
Yes.
You know who else fits well on a face swap with Winnie the Pooh?
Who's that?
Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, we saw that the other day, didn't we? Oh my God.
But yeah, also check out, through your preferred search engine that's not Google, check out the tweet that South Park or Matt and Trey Parker put out about that shit, because that shit was fire.
But on to the next story.
This is interesting to me, and it should be interesting to anyone that likes to eat pork. I enjoy bacon.
Yeah, I do. It's very good.
Pork chops.
Some pork tenderloin.
Carnitas.
Some ribs.
Pork ribs.
Yeah. Some ham.
Ham steak.
Some pulled pork. You know?
Mac and cheese with that ham steak.
Yeah.
Luckily, nothing can hurt our mac and cheese more than we've done by dumping glyphosate into it already.
Yeah, there you go.
Story titled, Change for Quality's Sake. Pig Apocalypse in the Making. Authorities to use drones and snipers to kill infected North Korean pigs. Posted by Gizmodo on 10/14/19. South Korea plans to slaughter invading diseased pigs on Tuesday using troops of swine assassins and thermal imaging drones. The nation's agricultural ministry announced on Sunday that the government planned a boorish strike to hinder... This is wreck. Boorish strike to hinder an influx of pigs carrying African swine fever coming into the nation from North Korea, according to a report from South China Monitoring Post. Authorities reportedly tested 5 dead wild boars that had been found in and around the border region between the two countries this month and found that they were all infected with the virus, raising concerns that the disease is beginning to trickle through the border. Shout out Plague Inc.
There you go.
The government will send civilian and military snipers to Goseong, Hashwan, Inji. God damn it, man, I can't read any of this shit. You want to try it?
Okay, so this is what I want you to do.
Goseong.
I'm going to say the first 3, and then the last 3, can you edit in the sound of cutlery hitting the floor?
I almost had a medical emergency. I almost swallowed both of these chew packets.
Oh. Well, all right, let me see. I'm going to do it. But if you can find that sound, that would be great.
I hope it's on there. I'm sure I'll find it. Here we go.
Goseong, Huatian, Inji, Paju.
That double G got me fucked up.
Yangu. And then just the sound.
Along the civilian control line, if the tactic is proven a safe and efficient way of calling the pigs, then the government may deploy more hunters, according to South China Monitoring Post. Swine flu has been disseminating pig populations in East Asia, but the North Korean government has officially claimed that the disease has barely affected its own country because they're so goddamn good. According to Bloomberg, North Korea's agricultural ministry has reported only a single outbreak at a cooperative farm near the Chinese border, in which 22 pigs were killed, to the World Health Organization for Animal Health. If this had been the only incident in the country, then it would mean the disease essentially has passed over North Korea. However, the chair of South Korea's National Assembly Intelligence Committee, Lee Hyul-hoon, has stated the country's intelligence reports show the disease has spread in nearly every area of North Korea, and all pigs in the North Pyongyang province have been wiped out. North Korea sharing any information to an intergovernmental group, even if the information is limited and misleading, is unusual for such a secretive and isolated government, according to An Chan-il, leader of the World Institute for North Korea Studies, and a former North Korean service member who defected 40 years ago. The fact that North Korea has reported the outbreak to an international organization suggests the situation is probably getting out of their hands. An told South China Morning Post, it's an apocalypse in the making. She meant to say pigpocalypse because that shit's fucking fire.
Yeah.
As of last week, 145 pigs have been called in South Korea since September, according to the Wall Street Journal. South Korea has made attempts to work together with North Korea to control the contagion, but Pyongyang has reportedly not responded. As Wall Street Journal points out, communication between the two countries has ceased since February, when Donald Trump met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un failed to hinder the nation's nuclear program.
Sounds like North Korea's got a pig problem. But
with the world, a lot of the world has it.
The Nile is not just a river in Egypt, apparently.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I mean, but the thing is, like, they need to get this shit under control, because what happens when the fucking shit jumps to humans?
Right.
And you know what? I play enough Plague Inc. to know that if you put something in that part of the world, Jesus Christ, does it spread.
Pigs, birds, and humans. And I just started, like I said earlier, watching The Stand. Shout out to Captain Trips.
Captain Trips,
Man.
Captain Trips.
Fuck the United States government.
Yes.
So you ready to move on to this hitter?
Yeah, let's hit that.
Worldwide pork industry threatened by disease. SentinelSource.com from 10/12/19. It's Ebola of the pig world. African swine fever is sweeping across large swaths of the planet, causing devastation wherever it goes. It has not yet come to the United States, and officials here are working strenuously to keep it out. But it is still spreading almost unchecked.
Say, man, we got a serious fucking wild pig problem anyways.
I know, it'd be all bad.
Jesus Christ.
Those things in the United States are shoot on sight in virtually every state, any time of year with any type of weapon.
And they're still fucking, they just breed so goddamn much. They're like giant fucking evil fucking rats, man.
I was talking to that Mitchell fellow.
Yeah.
And he said that I think it's like the nation's pork fair, or the world pork fair they have, I believe, in Iowa, have completely banned any type of Asian swine. And that's what we were talking about, the Chinese plan where
they got them hogzillas.
Yeah, those 1,250-pound hitters.
Fucking big old, ride them like a fucking horse shit.
If you go to a search engine and it's not Google and you type in China polar bear swine, get ready for some lulls, because they got people riding these motherfuckers.
For real. But yeah, so I guess on to the last thing we want to talk about, right? Or do you want to hit on
I thought there was one more thing in here that shit in North Korea's mouth. None of this is news to the pig farmers and indeed anyone involved in agriculture, but I just heard about it recently at the Innovations of Food and Agricultural Workshop sponsored by the National Press Foundation, and I was shocked. African swine fever is a virus that only affects pigs for now. Yeah. But both wild and domesticated. Humans and other animals are not affected yet, even if they eat the infected pig for now. But it can be highly fatal to pigs, which die only after a few days. It is also highly contagious with a twist. The virus can live in the carcass of a dead pig for several months. Shout out to those FEMA coffins that they got.
Yeah.
That gives other pigs the chance to contract it, either from the carcass itself or from the clothes or shoes of the farmer who touches. I thought I was going to say the clothes the pig wear.
Yeah.
Because I've read Animal Farm.
Nice.
The virus is also spread through ticks, pig manure, knives used to cut the carcass, farm equipment, and more. There's no known cure or even treatment. Some estimates suggest that the disease has already killed up to 1/3 or more of pigs in China. That is absolutely catastrophic news for the Chinese, who usually produce around half the world's pigs. One estimate is that half of the country's pork production will be lost. Obviously, that potential means financial ruin for the Chinese pig farmers and the communities they live in. But the virus is hitting hard in other parts of the world as well, such as Vietnam and other parts of Southeast Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, and some countries in Europe. Last week, it was just confirmed to be in South Korea. So China has turned to South America to meet its demand for pork, but now the virus is starting to spread there too. The United States is one of the few major producers left unscathed, and despite the tariffs, U.S. pork is being shipped to China in record amounts. Pigs breed quickly and have large litters, so the increased export should not lead to domestic shortages. On one hand, African swine fever is such a huge marketing opportunity for us, said John Johnson, Chief Operating Officer of the National Pork Board.
Of course, like, the silver lining is this guy's like, hey, it's not here so we can make all that money.
This is only going to matter to the people on live, but do you think he said it like this?
What was his name again?
John Johnson.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't John...
Johnsonwitz?
John Johnstein.
Johnstein.
On the other hand, it is one of 3 major trade-limiting diseases for pork. A trade-limiting disease means that such illness as African swine fever, classical swine fever, which is not related to the African swine fever, or foot and mouth disease are detected in the country, other nations can ban all pork from the country. Obviously, the U.S. pork industry, along with government, or pretty much everyone else who has a good idea, is working to keep African swine fever from its shores. You have to take a shower before you enter the sow farm, a shower before you leave the sow farm, Johnstein said. That goes for everyone, visitors and workers alike. In addition, visitors and workers must step out of their regular shoes on one side of the line and into clean shoes that are kept on the other side, he said. Every visitor to a pig farm is recorded Every feed truck is monitored throughout its daily rounds.
In the grand scheme of things, I gotta be honest, that's pretty important for this area, considering we do live in the county that has
The Pork Festival.
the world famous Preble County Pork Festival.
Shout out Preble County Pork Festival.
It's a good time. I didn't get to go this year, but Tobin's did bring me home some delicious pork chops.
You know, part of me wanted to be like, tell her to get me some and I'll pay for it.
Yeah, they were good pork chops too.
Did not. One major concern is about visitors to or from affected countries who see no harm in bringing back a favorite pork-based meal or treat. They may discard the food or even the bones, and if it isn't thoroughly cooked, it could pass the virus on to feral pigs. From there, it easily spreads to domesticated pigs, Johnstein said. The USDA says that Americans who visit the farms in other countries should declare that fact to Customs and Border Protection when they return so they can be shot.
Let me ask real quick. Who's visiting foreign pig farms, first of all?
Some motherfuckers doing it.
Secondly, I mean, like, who's bringing meat back with them?
Right.
Who's traveling with meat?
I don't know.
You know, this kind of feels like it's...
You can't even travel with a goddamn shampoo bottle.
It makes me feel like this is in the realm of, like, you know, it's like that thing where, like, we're coming up on Halloween, so, oh, watch out, because people will put fucking THC-laced candy in your kid's candy. No, they're not. That never happened. You know what? Fuck that. That never happened.
Man, let me find a gummy bear. Yeah, shit.
Listen, man, come on now.
Oh, my God.
Nobody with their right mind is going to fucking give their stash away.
I don't know if you guys on the live can see this, but I also printed a picture out. You know how North Korea, they always put out this dumb shit on top of all their news. This is Kim Jong-un with his staff following behind him as he thoroughly inspects cattle. Mm-hmm. And it was put on an article about swine.
You know, it's fake news, just like that video that was on ABC from Syria.
Oh, yeah. That you mean Kentucky?
Yeah. It's fucking Mark Safe from the fucking firefight in Syria, Kentucky.
How fucking lazy are these motherfuckers? For real. Or man, how dumb do they think we are?
I don't know, man. They must think we're really fucking stupid, for one.
You guys should all check out on YouTube. There's I think it's like an hour and 19 minutes of hidden footage recorded by a CNN insider about what's going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
They're off the chain.
Fucking stupid.
Man, they should hire us. We'd be better propaganda.
I think about
if we were those boys.
I think about time to wrap up.
We did a good one. I feel good about it.
We'd like to thank y'all for being here today.
Yeah.
You know, and here's our pitch. So we got all this new equipment. We got more equipment coming.
Yes.
We'd love to keep having more equipment. Not only that, we'd love to keep doing more shows. Like, we'd love to do, like, we could do multiple shows a week.
And different types of shows. Yeah. Imagine, if you will, this new setup that you haven't seen on the GoPro yet, but you've seen on the Instagram Live.
Imagine if we did just, like...
We had a computer. We're doing D-Live.
Half the time we were doing, like, Stephen King casts. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure I could talk about that for hours.
There's not much I can't talk about.
Yeah. So... what you need to do is you go over to that Patreon, right?
Patreon.com/Bones and Tubs.
You start with $1 a month.
Just $1.
That's all it is. We get like fucking... We know we got a lot of listeners. We know we got a lot of you out there.
Shitload.
It's even each one of you right now put in $1. We could theoretically probably...
We could quit.
We could quit.
We could quit our normal...
We could quit the Factory of Sadness and do this full time.
Yep.
But
just a matter of bringing y'all to our socials and bringing y'all to our fundraisers.
Can't do that without listeners and viewers, for that matter, now, like you. But if you're not ready for that kind of commitment, you can always contact us, though. You go over to our Instagram.
We're on Instagram, Instagram.com/Bones and Tubs.
Hit us up in them DMs.
Twitter at Bones Tubs.
And if you could do me a favor, well, we are on Facebook too.
Fedbook.com/Bones and Tubs.
If you could do us a favor, go over to that YouTube. Hit the subscribe button for us.
YouTube.
Hit the bell too if you want.
YouTube.com/Bones and Tubs show.
And then you can watch us and all of our delicious content.
If for some reason you violently hate Patreon, we're also on Venmo at Bones and Tubs. We're on PayPal at Bones and Tubs. And we're on the Cash app, $ Bones and Tubs.
For those of you that live in Hong Kong or China and your shit's getting censored, I guess you could always send it to Western Union or something.
For sure. I mean, not yet anyway.
What would be great is, like, imagine, if you will, I imagine a world where people are sending weapons to Hong Kong, right? Mm-hmm. And they're, like, bringing in these boats full of guns. And in the boats are, like... little like SD cards with episodes of Bones and Tubs on them. Like, we brought the good word with us.
You know what I want to do? And I just thought of this before the show. Like, if we got to the point where we could do different things that are like extravagant for our YouTube or D-Live channel.
Yeah.
because we have the funding. Mm-hmm. We could get a bunch of SD cards loaded with hours of information. Like, if we could find a 1 terabyte SD card and then put the Mark Passiow ARC on it, and then just slingshot them over the border from South Korea to North Korea.
There you go.
Win wars with mines.
But that's how you could contact us. That's how you can pay us if you want.
Let's not forget to shout out that fire music at the beginning and ending of the episode from Blood of the Brave.
Thank you, Blood of the Brave.
bloodofthebrave.com. He's got a YouTube. He's got a website. He's got a Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Also want to make sure anybody out there with a podcast that likes the Bones and Tubs podcast wants to do a promo swap.
We are more than open.
Hit us up, bonesandtubs@gmail.com.
Okay, so we'd like to thank y'all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We hope you have a good week, and we hope to see you next time.
Listen, we love you.
We really do.
I ain't here to talk shop, I'm here to talk cops who crooked and corrupt, who need to be stopped, who aren't afraid to aim, squeeze and release round after round until they put them in sheets. I said any and everywhere they're hitting it, well aware of what they're doing, and no, they don't care. Everything's illegal and nobody's free. We're all tapped to track, yeah, you and me hardwired to tune. They watch in the back room with their cameras on Zoom, laughing at me and you. Yeah, go ahead and think it ain't. Police stick for real, cause the cops got tanks. I got hounds to call out, rounds that they use, but that ain't a problem until they used on you. I said, one false move, you'll be up on the news in the morning and evening. Footage of your family weeping, man down. Yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. They say that's the way it is, but it's sick cause the kids deserve more than to live in the world like this. I'm pissed, I'm phased in the rage, and hop from the flash and the bang grenades. I'm burning alive, cause I'm burning inside. I'm a man on fire, cause another man died. I'm appalled, let's just list them all. I'm sure I'll miss a few, and a few will applaud. They punch kids, shot kids, taste pregnant ladies, taking babies to land, and put cuffs on the hands of veterans. It choked a peacemaker, he broke up a fight, and then died a little later. They shot men in the back who were under attack, and were caught on film, and they lied about the facts. They protect each other, they're owning the throne, so don't be shocked at all when they're breaking your home. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. It'll get real in a matter of minutes. Gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. It'll get real in a matter of minutes. Gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. All they need is a reason, it don't matter, it's open season. All they need is a reason, it don't matter, it's open season.